There is a longing deep within every soul that no one can deny, a restlessness that follows you, whether you are surrounded by people or all alone in the quiet of your room. It is not simply a hunger for more success, or more love, or more possessions. It is a cry that echoes from the deepest chambers of the heart, a cry that says, "There must be more to life than this." That longing is the most honest part of us, for it reveals the very purpose for which we were created. You see, the human heart was fashioned by God, designed to be the dwelling place of His Spirit. Nothing else will fit into that space, nothing else will satisfy the soul. So many people spend their entire lives chasing after answers, looking for something that can ease the ache within. Some turn to relationships, thinking that if they just find the right person, the emptiness will vanish. Others pour themselves into careers, climbing higher and higher, hoping that success will finally quiet the yearning. Still others search in pleasures, entertainment, or substances, numbing the ache for a moment, but always finding that when the noise fades, the void is still there, deeper than before. Do you know why? Because that emptiness was never meant to be filled by things or people. It was meant to be filled by God Himself. The most tragic thing is not that people feel empty. It is that they often don't understand what the emptiness is trying to say. They mistake it for loneliness, or lack of achievement, or unfulfilled dreams, when in reality it is the soul crying out for its Creator. The heart was made for God's presence, and until He comes in, there will always be that hollow space, that quiet ache, that unanswered longing. It is like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the more desperate you become. And yet the fountain of living water is right here, waiting to fill the very place that nothing else ever could. Do you realize that God created you with this longing on purpose? He placed eternity in the human heart. He made us so that we cannot be complete without Him. Think of it, no matter how beautiful this world may be, no matter how much it offers, it will never fully satisfy, because our souls are eternal, and only the eternal God can meet their need. That is why even in moments of great achievement, when others would say you have everything, you still may feel an emptiness that you cannot explain. That is why even with love surrounding you, even with blessings all around, there is still a hunger within that nothing outward can touch. It is God's gentle reminder that your heart belongs to Him, and Him alone. I have seen men and women stand in places of great honor, applauded by thousands, yet behind the applause they carried a loneliness that was unbearable. I have watched people chase wealth and reach it, only to discover that it left them more restless than when they were poor. I have seen hearts broken when they realized that even the love of another human being, as beautiful as it is, could not completely heal the inner ache. Oh, precious one, the world can offer you many things, but it cannot offer you peace. It cannot offer you fullness of life. It cannot offer you the presence of the living God. That is why, no matter what path you take in search of fulfillment, you will always end up back at the same place, the deep cry of your heart for the Spirit of God. When God's Spirit enters that empty space, everything changes. The hunger is satisfied, the restlessness is stilled, the loneliness is gone. For the first time, the soul feels at home. That is what you were created for, not to wander endlessly, not to strive and strive without peace, but to live as a temple of the Holy Spirit, carrying within you the very presence of the One who formed you. And once you know Him, once His Spirit fills you, nothing else can compare. The things you once chased after lose their grip on your heart, because you have found the treasure above all treasures. The things that once consumed you no longer hold power, because you have discovered the only one who can make you whole. This is why I tell you with all my heart, no matter who you are or what you have tried, you will never be complete until you allow God's Spirit to fill the place He created within you. That is not something you can manufacture. It is not something you can buy or earn. It is a gift that God offers freely to those who will simply open their hearts and say, "Lord, I need you. Come fill the emptiness in me." And when you do, You will discover that the void you carried for so long was not meant to torment you, but to draw you closer to the one who loves you with an everlasting love. And so tonight, I say to you with all tenderness and all truth, do not keep searching in the wrong places. Do not keep trying to fill what only God can fill. There is a sorrow that comes when people try again and again to fill the emptiness within with things that were never meant to satisfy. The human heart is searching, always reaching for something to hold on to, something that will quiet the ache inside. But so often, instead of turning to God, we run after substitutes. We reach for the things we can see, the things we can touch, the things the world tells us will make us whole. And for a moment it may seem like they work. For a brief season the void feels a little smaller, the ache not quite as sharp. But then, when the excitement fades, when the applause dies down, when the pleasure has passed, the emptiness is still there, deeper, stronger, and more demanding than before. Some try to fill the void with success. They pour themselves into their careers, striving for recognition, chasing the next achievement, believing that the praise of men will heal the loneliness inside. But the higher they climb, the more they realize the mountaintop is just another lonely place. Others turn to wealth, believing that money will buy them peace. They gather possessions, surround themselves with luxury, but they discover that the heart cannot be bought. Riches may fill the hands, but they cannot fill the soul. Then there are those who turn to pleasure, who seek comfort in entertainment, in indulgence, in temporary escapes. Yet when the laughter fades and the music stops, they find themselves face to face with the same emptiness they tried to silence. Even relationships, as beautiful as they are, cannot take the place of God. A husband cannot fill the place meant for the Spirit of God. A wife cannot fill it. A friend cannot fill it. Love from another human being can bring joy, but it cannot heal the deepest ache of the soul. That is why so many people, even in marriages, even surrounded by family, still feel lonely. They look to another person to carry a weight that only God was meant to carry, and when that person cannot, disappointment follows, hearts break, and the emptiness grows heavier. Do you see how cruel the substitutes are? They promise so much. They sparkle, they shine, they call to you with voices that say, "This will make you happy, this will make you whole," and for a moment you believe them. But they are like mirages in the desert. When you reach them, there is nothing there, and the thirst becomes even more unbearable. That is the way of the world. It offers you shadows when your soul is crying out for substance. It offers you fleeting moments when your spirit was made for eternity. It offers you noise when what you need is the still, sweet presence of the living God. The truth is, the void inside of you is not an accident. It is not a flaw. It is the greatest testimony that you were created for more than this world. That is why the substitutes will never work. The human heart was designed for God's Spirit, and only His Spirit can bring life where there was emptiness. You cannot replace Him with success. You cannot replace Him with pleasure. You cannot replace Him with possessions or with people. All of it will eventually fail you. Only God's Spirit can last. Only His Spirit can satisfy. Only His Spirit can transform you from the inside out. The tragedy is not simply that people are empty, but that they keep reaching for the wrong things. They spend their lives drinking from broken cisterns, hoping for water, but never finding it. They keep chasing, keep running, keep striving, but the more they try, the more restless they become. And do you know why? Because the substitutes do not just fail. They leave you more desperate than before. They make the void even larger, so that you find yourself hungrier, thirstier, lonelier than you ever were at the start. But the Spirit of God is not like that. When He comes, He does not numb the pain for a little while. He heals it. He does not cover the emptiness with temporary comfort. He fills it with Himself. He does not leave you thirsting for more of what the world can offer. He gives you living water that never runs dry. He transforms your very being so that what once enslaved you no longer holds you. The substitutes may offer you a fleeting taste of happiness, but the Spirit gives you joy everlasting. The substitutes may distract you for a moment, but the Spirit gives you peace that no circumstance can take away. The substitutes may break you, but the Spirit makes you whole. This is why the futility of earthly substitutes must be seen for what it is. The world will offer you many things, but none of them will ever reach that sacred place inside of you. You can chase success until you are weary. You can gather riches until your hands are full. You can surround yourself with pleasure until you are numb, but still your heart will cry out, "Is this all?" And the answer is no, this is not all. You were made for God, and until His Spirit fills you, nothing will ever be enough. So I tell you with all the love in my heart, do not waste your life on substitutes. Do not spend your years chasing shadows when the light of God is waiting to fill you. Do not let the world deceive you with its empty promises, for they will leave you broken and longing still. The Spirit of God is the only one who can fill the void in your life. When the Spirit of God comes to fill the emptiness of the human heart, He does not come quietly just to occupy space. He comes with life, with power, with wholeness. That which was once hollow becomes overflowing. That which was restless becomes anchored. That which was broken becomes mended. The Spirit does not simply make a difference. He makes all the difference. Without Him, the soul wanders in darkness, but with Him, everything changes. It is the difference between stumbling in confusion and walking in light. It is the difference between weakness and strength, between despair and hope, between emptiness and the fullness of God's presence. You see, the Spirit of God is not just an addition to your life. He is life itself. Jesus said that He came so we might have life and have it more abundantly. That abundance is not found in what you possess, nor in who surrounds you, nor even in the circumstances of your day. That abundance is found in the Spirit. When He fills you, the emptiness vanishes because He Himself is the answer your soul has always longed for. Where there was sorrow, He brings joy. Where there was fear, He brings courage. Where there was confusion, He brings wisdom. And where there was weakness, He brings the very strength of God. Do you know what it is to wake up in the morning with peace instead of dread? To walk through trials and yet carry joy that cannot be shaken? To face moments of uncertainty and still feel secure? That is what happens when the Spirit of God fills your life. He doesn't remove every storm, but He gives you an anchor that holds firm in the midst of it. He doesn't promise that valleys will disappear, but He walks with you so closely that even in the shadows you feel His light guiding you. The Spirit transforms the way you see, the way you walk, the way you live. Some people think of the Spirit only as a gentle comforter, and yes, He comforts, but He is so much more. He is the power of God within you. He equips you to do what you could never do in your own strength. He gives you the ability to overcome temptation, to forgive where bitterness once lived, to love where hatred once reigned. He does not just patch the broken pieces of your life. He makes you whole, and then He makes you a vessel through which His power can flow to others. The Spirit is not only about what He does for you. He is about what He does through you. Think of it. This same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you. The Spirit that hovered over the waters in creation. The Spirit that filled prophets with boldness. The Spirit that turned fearful disciples into fearless witnesses. That same Spirit lives within you when you open your heart to Him. That is why the emptiness cannot remain when He comes. Darkness and light cannot occupy the same space. Fear and faith cannot reign together. When the Spirit enters, He brings the fullness of God's presence, and everything else must bow. There are so many who walk through life feeling powerless, feeling broken, feeling like they cannot go on. But when the Spirit fills you, weakness becomes strength. When the Spirit fills you, despair becomes hope. When the Spirit fills you, you discover that you are not walking alone, but that God Himself lives within you, and that realization transforms everything. Suddenly, The burdens that seemed unbearable become light because you are not carrying them alone. Suddenly, the doors that seemed closed open because He is the one leading you. Suddenly, the loneliness that tormented you disappears because His presence is nearer than the very air you breathe. This is not imagination. This is reality. The Spirit of God is not distant. He is not far away. He is not unreachable. He is present. He is real, and He is ready to fill every heart that will simply open to Him. And when He comes, He does not come halfway. He comes to overflow. That is why Jesus spoke of rivers of living water flowing from within. He does not just quench your thirst. He makes you a fountain through which His life can pour into others. He fills you, and then He uses you, so that the same Spirit that satisfied your soul can reach those around you who are still searching. So many live as though the Spirit of God were only a doctrine, an idea, a belief to be spoken of but not experienced. But He is a living reality. He is the breath of God within you, the fire of heaven burning in your heart, the voice that guides, the hand that holds, the power that sustains. And once you know Him, once you have been filled, you will never be satisfied with anything less. The emptiness that haunted you is gone, the substitutes that deceived you lose their hold, and the Spirit becomes your everything, your joy, your strength, your purpose, your life. So tonight I tell you with all my heart, there is only one answer to the void, only one remedy for the emptiness, only one source of true life. It is the Spirit of the living God, and when He fills you, you will never be the same again. For only His Spirit can fill the void in your life.